Thank you for choosing American Pest CEUs. Hi, I'm Sean Reeves. I'm an Associate Certified Entomologist with American Pest CEUs. I've been in the pest management industry since 1999, and I'll be your instructor for today's course. Today's course was compiled by Jack Launius, who has served in the pest management industry since 1990. Today's course is going to be on Virginia Law Review for new licenses. This course focuses on regulations that pertain primarily to pesticide applicators, both private and commercial, along with pest control businesses. 2. VACS-670-150 Handling and Storage. No person shall handle, transport, store, display, or distribute pesticides in a manner that may endanger humans and the environment, or food, feed, or any other products that may be transported, stored, displayed, or distributed with the pesticides. 2. VACS-670-160 Disposal. No person shall dispose of, discard, or store any pesticides or pesticide containers in a manner that may cause injury to humans, vegetation, crops, livestock, wildlife, or pollinating insects, or pollute any water supply or waterway. Pesticides or pesticide containers must be disposed of in accordance with all local, state, and federal solid waste and hazardous waste laws and regulations. 2. VACS-670-170 Application and Equipment. A. No person shall apply, dispense, or use any pesticide in or through any equipment or application apparatus unless the equipment or apparatus is in sound mechanical condition and capable of satisfactory operation. All pesticide application equipment shall be properly equipped to dispense the proper amount of material. All pesticide mixing, storage, or holding tanks, whether on application equipment or not, shall be leak-proof. All spray distribution systems shall be leak-proof, and any pumps which these systems may have shall be capable of operating at sufficient pressure to assure a uniform and adequate rate of discharge. B. All pesticide application equipment shall be equipped with cutoff valves and discharge orifices to enable the operator to pass over non-target areas without contaminating them. All hoses, pumps, or other equipment used to fill pesticide handling, storage, or application equipment shall be fitted with an effective valve or device to prevent backflow into water supply systems, streams, lakes, other sources of water, or other materials. However, these backflow devices or valves are not required for separate water storage tanks used to fill agricultural pesticide application equipment by gravity systems when the fill spout, tube, or pipe is not allowed to contact or fall below the water level of the application equipment being filled, and no other possible means of establishing a back siphon or backflow exist. I just want to make a couple comments on this slide. So when it comes to a backflow preventer, that would especially be when your fill pipe would go down into a tank or contact the water or mixture down below. As you can see here, this fill pipe is above the tank itself, so we don't have to worry about a backflow preventer because there's no way pesticides or mixed pesticides in a tank could be sucked back through that pipe. The gravity, as it talks about here, of the water, when the water goes through this pipe, it's going to go down into the tank, and again, there's no connection between that pipe and the tank, so no backflow preventer would be needed in this case. But any time that pipe or hose or anything does go down into the tank, you're going to need that backflow preventer because any drop in pressure of the water or anything like that is going to cause the pesticides to be sucked back into the water supply, and that's a really big deal, and we don't want that to happen. 2. VACS-670-210 Service Container Labeling. Containers other than the original registrants or manufacturer's containers used for the temporary storage or transportation of pesticide concentrates or in-use dilutions shall bear abbreviated labeling as elaborated next. Pesticide concentrate. A. If the pesticide to be temporarily stored or transported is a concentrate to be further diluted, the container shall bear a securely attached label with the following information. 1. Product name, brand names from product label. 2. EPA registration number from product label. 3. Name and percentage of active ingredients from the product label. And 4. Appropriate signal word, i.e., poison, danger, warning, caution from product label. B. The above labeling is required for concentrate service containers regardless of container type, size, or capacity. On this slide, you're seeing an example of what that label should look like. We'll give you a few moments to review this. Pesticide, in-use dilutions, or end-use concentrates. A. If the pesticide to be temporarily stored or transported is to be applied without further dilution, the container shall bear a securely attached label with the following information. 1. Product name, brand name from product label, preceded by the word diluted or end-use concentrate. 2. EPA registration number from concentrate product label. 3. Name of active ingredients and percentages of in-use dilution. And 4. Appropriate signal word, i.e., poison, danger, warning, caution from product label. B. Abbreviated labeling is not required for the following. 1. In-use dilution containers not exceeding 3 gallons liquid or 3 pounds dry capacity when such containers are used as application devices, i.e., handheld sprayers, dusters, puffers, etc. 2. Containers used by farm supply dealers for the temporary storage or transportation of pesticide concentrate or end-use dilutions, provided that sales invoices or delivery tickets adequately identifying the pesticides accompany each shipment or delivery. 3. On-farm concentrate or in-use dilution containers or application equipment used for the temporary storage or transportation of such pesticides for agricultural use. 4. Aircraft-mounted containers used for temporary storage or transportation of concentrate or end-use dilution pesticides, provided that aircraft logs or other documents adequately identifying the pesticides accompany the aircraft. Chapter 680, Regulations Governing Licensing of Pesticide Businesses Operating under the Authority of the Virginia Pesticide Control Act. 2. VACS 680-20, General Requirements for all pesticide businesses. Exemptions. A. Any person or business that, in exchange for compensation, sells, stores, distributes, mixes, applies, or recommends for use pesticides in Virginia shall obtain a valid pesticide business license pursuant to this chapter. Each pesticide business location shall be licensed. B. Exempted from the provisions of this chapter are the following. 1. Merchants of limited quantities of non-restricted use pesticides who sell pesticides primarily intended for limited household use. 2. Federal, state, and local governmental agencies. 3. Certified applicators not for hire, including those who use or supervise the use of pesticides as part of their job duties only on property owned or leased by themselves or their employer. And 4. Providers of janitorial, cleaning, or sanitizing services if the providers use no pesticides other than sanitizers, disinfectants, and germicides. C. Application for a pesticide business license is made by submitting to the department 1. A completed application form, 2. A check or money order in the amount of the annual business license fee established by the board, and 3. Evidence of financial responsibility as required in 2 VACS-680-80. 3.2-3927 Evidence of financial responsibility required of licensed pesticide business. A. The board shall not issue a pesticide business license until the business has furnished evidence of financial responsibility consisting of a liability insurance policy from a person authorized to do business in the Commonwealth that protects persons who suffer legal damages as a result of the use of any pesticide by the applicant. Financial responsibility need not apply to damages or injury to agricultural crops, plants, or property being worked upon by the applicant. The board, by regulation, may establish and prescribe the conditions for financial responsibility. B. The amount of financial responsibility shall be established by the board at a minimum of $100,000 for property damage, $100,000 for personal injury to or death of one person, and $300,000 per occurrence. The board may accept a liability insurance policy containing a deductible clause in an amount considered usual and customary in the industry, with the provision that the insurer shall pay all claim in full and that the amount of the deductible shall be recoverable only from the insured. As you can see below, this would be similar language to what you would see on a policy like this. This certifies that the policyholder is covered under a general liability insurance policy with the following coverage limits: personal injury liability, $100,000, property damage liability, $100,000, combined single limit per occurrence, $300,000. The board may adopt regulations governing the provision of additional evidence of financial responsibility based upon annual gross revenue of the applicant or his employer's business, and at an assessment of the risk of the applicant or his employer's business to persons, property, and the environment. Such financial responsibility shall be maintained at not less than such amount at all times during the licensed period. The applicant shall notify the board 10 days prior to any reduction at the request of the applicant or cancellation by the insurer. D. Each applicant for a pesticide business license or an employee designated by the applicant shall demonstrate to the Commissioner his knowledge of 1. Pesticide laws and regulations, 2. Potential hazards of pesticides to man and the environment, and 3. Safe distribution, use, and disposal of pesticides by passing a written examination prior to his being issued a business license. If the applicant is already certified as a commercial applicator, he shall be exempt from the initial examination requirement. E. All licensed pesticide businesses shall maintain written records pertaining to their operations as required in this chapter. F. All licensed pesticide business locations or outlets which sell restricted use pesticides or distribute restricted use pesticide for purposes of selling shall have a certified commercial applicator present who shall bear immediate responsibility for the correct and safe operation of the location or outlet. Each business shall notify the department of the name of the commercial applicator assigned to each location or outlet, and shall also notify the department within 3 business days of any change in the applicator assignments during the license period. H. All pesticide business licenses shall expire at midnight on March 31st of each year. Licensees shall renew their licenses annually by application to the department and payment of the annual fee on or before close of business March 31st. The Department shall charge a 20% penalty in addition to the regular fee for renewal applications. 2. VACS-680-30 Business Licensing Requirements for Commercial Applicators. Any person mixing or applying any pesticide commercially in Virginia shall either 1. Obtain a valid pesticide business license pursuant to VACS-680-20 A, or 2. Be employed by a currently licensed pesticide business. The business license and fees shall not be considered a substitute for the commercial applicator certification and fee. Possession of a business license does not authorize the licensee to apply restricted use pesticides, nor does it allow a reduction of the fee necessary for an applicator's certification. 2. VACS-680-40 Business Licensing Requirements for Pest Management Consultants. A. Any person or business which recommends any pesticide for use commercially in Virginia shall obtain a pesticide business license issued pursuant to 2 VACS-680-20 A. This provision shall exclude sales personnel of a licensed pesticide business company training, technical, and sales representatives certified in the demonstration pesticide applicator category and governmental employees while performing in an official capacity. 2 VACS-680-20 All pesticide business licenses shall expire at midnight on March 31st of each year. Licensees shall renew their licenses annually by application to the Department and payment of the annual fee on or before close of business March 31st. The Department shall charge a 20% penalty in addition to the regular fee for renewal applications filed after March 31st. B. The specialty categories for a pest management consultant shall conform to the commercial applicator categories established pursuant to the Act. The pest management consultant shall meet the requirements of the specific category or subcategory in which he is making recommendations for pesticide use prior to being issued a business license. 2 VACS-680-50 General Record Keeping Requirements. A. Records shall, upon written request, be made available for inspection by the Commissioner or his designee during normal business hours. Records not readily available shall be submitted to the Commissioner within 72 hours if requested in writing. Records may be submitted electronically, including but not limited to electronic mail, or by completing any forms provided online by VDAX. B. Persons possessing records covered in this part shall fully comply with the requirements contained in the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. C. Pesticide businesses shall maintain for a period of 2 years all records required by this chapter. 2 VACS-680-65 and 70 Record keeping of pesticide applications by licensed pesticide businesses. Licensed pesticide businesses shall maintain a record of each pesticide applied. This shall apply to both general use and restricted use pesticides. Records need to include 1. Name, address, and telephone number of customer and address or location, if different, of site of application. 2. Name and certification number or certification number of the supervising certified applicator of the person making the application. 3. Day, month, and year of application. 4. Type of plants, crop, animals, or sites treated, and principal pests to be controlled. 5. Acreage, area, or number of plants or animals treated. 6. Brand, trademark, or product name appearing on the product's label. 7. EPA registration number. 8. Amount of pesticide concentrate and amount of diluents used by weight or volume in the mixture applied. And 9. Type of application equipment used. 2. VACS-680-90. Revocation of a business license. In addition to the violative acts listed under 3.2-3940A of the Code of Virginia, the following are grounds for revocation by the Board of a business license. 1. Failure to 1. Submit records to the Commissioner upon written request, or 2. To permit any person designated by the Commissioner to have access to and to copy such records of business transactions as may be essential to carrying out the purposes of the Act. 2. Operation of a pesticide business location or outlet without a certified commercial applicator assigned to the location or outlet as required by this chapter. 3. Interference with the Commissioner or his duly authorized agents in carrying out the duties imposed by the Act. 4. Conduct by a licensee as determined during the course of a hearing which has or might have resulted at any time in substantial danger to or in unreasonable adverse effects on the public health, safety, or the environment. 5. Failure of a licensee to notify the Department of any change in financial responsibility. And 6. Multiple violations of the Act or regulations pursuant thereto within a 3-year period. Chapter 685. Regulations governing pesticide applicator certification under authority of Virginia Pesticide Control Act. Definitions. The following words and terms, when used in this chapter, shall have the following meanings unless the context clearly indicates otherwise. Accident means an unexpected, undesirable event involving the use or presence of a pesticide that adversely affects man or the environment. Act means the Virginia Pesticide Control Act as shown at the bottom of the screen. Agricultural commodity means any plant or part thereof or animal product produced by a person, including farmers, ranchers, vineyardists, plant propagators, Christmas tree growers, aquaculturists, floriculturists, orchardists, foresters, nurserymen, wood treaters not for hire, or other comparable persons primarily for sale, consumption, propagation, or other use by man or animals. Board means the Board of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Board-approved training means a course which includes, at a minimum, study and review of all the material contained in an edition used in Virginia of 1. A basic pesticide applicator certification training core manual, and 2. A certification training manual for each specific category pertaining to the type of pesticide application to be done. Certificate means the document issued to a certified applicator or registered technician who has completed all the requirements of Article 3, 3.2-3929 ET-SEQ of Chapter 39 of Title 3.2 of the Code of Virginia. Certification or certified means the recognition granted by the Board of Agriculture and Consumer Services to an applicator upon satisfactory completion of board-approved requirements. The term chemigation means the application of any pesticide through an irrigation system. Our next term is commercial applicator. This means any applicator who has completed the requirements as determined by the board, including appropriate training and time in service, to apply for a certification, and who uses or supervises the use of any pesticide for any purpose on any property other than as provided in the definition of private applicator. Commercial applicator not for hire means any commercial applicator who uses or supervises the use of pesticides as part of his job duties only on property owned or leased by him or his employer. It also applies to governmental employees who use or supervise the use of pesticides, whether on property owned or leased by them or their employers or not, in the performance of their official duties. Commissioner means the Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Competent person means a person having the demonstrated ability to perform the task to which he is assigned. Department means the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Dilutable means the pesticide product's labeling allows or requires the pesticide product to be mixed with a liquid diluent prior to application or use. Drift means the physical movement of pesticide through the air at the time of pesticide application or soon thereafter from the target site to any non-target or off-target site. Pesticide drift will not include movement of pesticides to non-target or off-target sites caused by erosion, migration, volatility, or wind-blown soil particles that occurs after application unless specifically addressed on the pesticide product label with respect to drift control requirements. Let's talk about the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. First, we're going to look at the term EPA, means the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and FIFRA, means the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. Fumigant means any substance that by itself or in combination with any other substance or liberates a gas or gases, fumes, or vapors that will destroy vermin, rodents, insects, and other pests and is usually lethal, poisonous, noxious, or dangerous to human life. Fungicide means any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating any fungi or plant disease. Herbicide means any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating any weed. Incident means a definite and separate occurrence or event involving the use of or presence of a pesticide that adversely affects man or the environment. Insecticide means any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating any insects that may be present in any environment whatsoever. Knowledge means the possession and comprehension of pertinent facts together with the ability to use them in dealing with specific problems and situations within the pesticide context. Label means the written, printed, or graphic matter on, or attached to, the pesticide or device, or the immediate container thereof, and the outside container or wrapper of the retail package, if any, of the pesticide or device. Labeling means all labels and other written, printed, or graphic matter. 1. Upon the pesticide or device or any of its containers or wrappers. 2. Accompanying the pesticide or device at any time. 3. To which reference is made on the label or in literature accompanying the pesticide or device, except when accurate, non-misleading reference is made to current official publications of the Agricultural Experiment Station, the Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, the State Board of Health, or similar federal institutions or other official agencies of the Commonwealth or other states when such states are authorized by law to conduct research in the field of pesticides. Licensed or licensee means those businesses which, when meeting the requirements established by the Board of Agriculture and Consumer Services, are issued a license to engage in the sale, storage, distribution, recommend the use, or application of pesticides in Virginia in exchange for compensation. Marine anti-foulant paint means any compound, coating, paint, or treatment applied or used for the purpose of controlling freshwater or marine fouling organisms on vessels. One-way valve means a valve that is designed and constructed to allow virtually unrestricted flow in one direction and no flow in the opposite direction, thus allowing the withdrawal of material from, but not the introduction of material into, a container. 1. Any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating any insects, rodents, fungi, bacteria, weeds, or other forms of plant or animal life or viruses, except viruses on or in living man or other animals, which the Commissioner shall declare to be a pest. 2. Any substance or mixture of substances intended for use as a plant regulator, defoliant, or desiccant. And 3. Any substance which is intended to become an active ingredient thereof. Pesticide business means any person engaged in the business of distributing, applying, or recommending the use of a product, or storing, selling, or offering for sale pesticides directly to the user. The term pesticide business does not include 1. Wood treaters not for hire, 2. Seed treaters not for hire, 3. Operations that produce agricultural products unless the owners or operators of such operations described in clauses 1, 2, and 3 are engaged in the business of selling or offering for sale pesticides or distributing pesticides to persons outside of that agricultural producing operation in connection with commercial transactions, or 4. Businesses exempted by regulations adopted by the Board. Private applicator means an applicator who uses or supervises the use of any pesticide that is classified for restricted use for purposes of producing any agricultural commodity on property owned or rented by him or his employer, or, if applied without compensation other than trading of personal services, between producers of agricultural commodities on the property of another person. Registered technician means an individual who renders services similar to those of a certified commercial applicator, but who has not completed all the training or time and service requirements to be eligible for examination for certification as a commercial applicator and is limited to application of general use pesticides. However, if he applies restricted use pesticides, he shall do so only under the direct supervision of a certified commercial applicator. Every registered technician is certified in Category 60, regardless of the category or subcategory in which he is trained and applies pesticides. Registered technician not for hire means any registered technician who uses or supervises the use of pesticides as part of his job duties only on property owned or leased by him or his employer. It also applies to governmental employees who use or supervise the use of pesticides, whether on property owned or leased by them or their employers or not, in the performance of their official duties. Repeat violation means another violation following the first violation of the same provisions of the Virginia Pesticide Control Act or the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, or regulations adopted pursuant thereto, committed within a 3-year period, commencing with the date of official notification of first violation of the provision. Restricted entry interval means the time after the end of a pesticide application during which entry into the treated area is restricted. Restricted use pesticide, or pesticide classified for restricted use, means any pesticide classified for restricted use by the administrator of the EPA under the provisions of 1947 of the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, as amended. Rinsate means the liquid resulting from the rinsing of the interior of any equipment or container that has come in direct contact with any pesticide. Runoff means any liquid leaving the target site, including water, pesticide rinsate, and pesticide dilutants. Rodent means any animal of the order Rodentia, including but not limited to rats, mice, rabbits, gophers, prairie dogs, and squirrels. Secondary containment unit means any structure, including rigid diking, that is designed and constructed to intercept and contain pesticide spills and leaks, and to prevent runoff and leaching from secondary pesticide containers. Suspension concentrate means a stable suspension of solid, particulate, active ingredients in a liquid intended for dilution with water before use. Rodenticide means any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating rodents or any other vertebrate animal which the Commissioner shall declare to be a pest. Under the direct supervision of means the act or process whereby the application of a pesticide is made by a competent person acting under the instructions and control of a certified commercial applicator who is responsible for the actions of that person. Under the direct on-site supervision of means the act or process whereby the applicator of a pesticide is made by a competent person acting under the instructions and control of a certified commercial applicator who is responsible for the actions of that person and is physically present on the property upon which the pesticide is being applied and in constant visual contact with the person applying the pesticide. Use means the employment of a pesticide for the purposes of 1. Preventing, destroying, repelling, or mitigating any pest, or 2. Regulating plant growth, causing defoliation and desiccation of plants. The term use shall include application or mixing and shall include handling or transfer of a pesticide after the manufacturer's original seal is broken. The term use shall include any act with respect to a particular pesticide which is consistent with the label directions for that particular pesticide. Restricted use pesticides prohibited. Exceptions. Training required. A. No person shall use any pesticide classified for restricted use unless that person 1. Has first completed the certification requirements of the board, 2. Is under the direct supervision of a certified applicator on site and training for certification as a commercial applicator or registered technician, or 3. Is producing an agricultural commodity while under the direct supervision of a private applicator, property owned or leased by that private applicator. General requirements for certification. A. The following persons must be certified as pesticide applicators. 1. Commercial applicators. 2. Registered technicians. And 3. Private applicators. B. Commercial applicators not for hire must be certified only when using any pesticide in the following areas, except as noted in subsection C of this section. 1. Areas open to the general public at daycare facilities, educational institutions, healthcare facilities, and convalescent facilities. 2. Areas where open food is stored, processed, or sold. And 3. Recreational lands over 5 acres in size. C. Employees of local, state, and federal governmental agencies who use or supervise the use of any pesticide on any area in the performance of their official duties must be certified as either commercial applicators not for hire or registered technicians but they are exempt from any certification fees. D. All persons desiring certification as pesticide applicators must 1. Complete board-approved training appropriate for the desired classification. 2. Submit a completed application to the Commissioner. And 3. Pass required examination or examinations. Applicants who do not pass the examination and who request re-examination must resubmit a completed application to the Commissioner of his duly authorized agent and pay the non-refundable applicator certification fee. E. Persons with a history of repeat violations of federal or state pesticide laws, or whose certification or pesticide business license has been revoked within the 2-year period immediately prior to application, are not eligible for certification. Such persons may appear before the board to show why they should be granted certification. F. Applicants for certification cannot engage in the activity for which they are requesting certification unless participating in supervised, direct, on-site training until certification has been issued by the Commissioner. Commercial applicators may not apply pesticides in any category or subcategory activity until they have passed the category-specific examination and obtained the appropriate certification. A commercial or private applicator or registered technician may request a duplicate of the certification card if the applicator's or technician's card has been lost, stolen, mutilated, or destroyed. Specific certification requirements for commercial applicators. A. In addition to the general requirements, applicants for commercial applicator certification shall meet the following requirements. 1. Certification as a registered technician, as well as employment as a registered technician for at least a year, or 2. 1 year of education, training, or experience in a pesticide-related field, which proves the equivalent practical knowledge of proper pesticide use required of a registered technician. B. The application process for commercial applicators is as follows. 1. The application must be in writing to the Commissioner, and 2. The application must contain A. Name, B. Principal business address in the Commonwealth and elsewhere, C. Qualifications and proposed operations, and D. Classification or classifications desired. Applicants shall, within 90 days after submitting the application and paying the fee, report to an authorized testing location and take the required examinations. Applicants who do not complete the certification process within 2 years of the date of passing the examinations must be re-examined. E. Aerial pesticide application applicants must meet the requirements of the Federal Aviation Agency, the Virginia Department of Aviation, and any other applicable federal or state laws or regulations to operate aerial equipment. Commercial applicator certificate fee. Any person applying for a certificate as a commercial applicator shall pay to the department an initial non-refundable certificate fee of $25. All certificates shall expire on June 30th in the second year after issuance, unless suspended or revoked for cause. A certificate not suspended or revoked for cause will be renewed upon receipt of an application for renewal submitted by June 30th. If the certificate is not renewed within 60 days following the expiration of the certificate, then such certificate holder shall be required to take another examination. The fee for this re-examination, or for any commercial applicator re-examination, shall be $25 and shall be non-refundable. Any person applying to add a category or subcategory to a certificate shall pay to the department a non-refundable fee of $25. Federal, state, and local government employees certified to use or supervise the use of pesticides in government programs shall be exempt from any certification fees. B. Persons who cannot read or understand labels shall not be certified as private applicators unless they demonstrate competence to apply restricted use pesticides on their own properties. Persons seeking a waiver of the literacy requirements shall petition the board. Persons certified under this waiver shall obtain certification in the categories of limited certificate or single product certification. Certification procedures for registered technicians. A. In addition to the general requirements listed in Individuals Seeking Certification as Registered Technicians must 1. Receive on-the-job training in the proper application of pesticides under the direct on-site supervision of a certified commercial applicator for at least 20 hours. Complete at least 20 hours of board-approved training. 3. Submit an application form with the fee established by regulations of the Board of Agriculture and Consumer Services. And 4. Take the examination within 90 days after an individual is hired or transferred into a position where duties and functions involve the commercial use of pesticides. Individuals not passing the examination on the first attempt must reapply. Individuals failing to take and pass the exam within 90 days of the initial examination may not apply pesticides commercially, even under direct on-site supervision, until they pass the examination. Individuals who have previously submitted an application form and either did not take the examination within 90 days after being hired or transferred into a position where duties and functions involve the commercial use of pesticides, or did not pass a subsequent examination within 90 days of the initial examination may not apply pesticides commercially, even under direct on-site supervision, until they reapply and pass the examination. Applicants who do not complete the certification process within 2 years of the date of passing the examination must be re-examined. B. Before registered technicians begin working in any application category or subcategory that is different from the category in which they received their original training, they shall receive additional training from a commercial applicator in the following aspects of pesticide application as it relates to the proposed category or subcategory of work. Pesticides to be used, including reading and understanding the label, application equipment and techniques, pests to be controlled, personal protective equipment and clothing, and environmental concerns, including storage and disposal of pesticides, applied. The commercial applicator providing training to a registered technician shall be certified in the category or subcategory for which he is providing the training, and shall provide proof to the department of such training on forms provided by the department. Such forms must be received by the department within 10 calendar days of the completion of such training. 2. VACS-675-40 Registered Technician Certificate Fee. Any person applying for a certificate as a registered technician shall pay to the department an initial, non-refundable certificate fee of $25. All certificates shall expire on June 30th in the second year after issuance unless suspended or revoked for cause. A certificate not suspended or revoked for cause will be renewed upon receipt of an application for renewal submitted by June 30th. If the certificate is not renewed within 60 days following the expiration of the certificate, then such certificate holder shall be required to take another examination. The fee will be $25 and is non-refundable. Federal, state, and local government employees certified to use pesticides in government programs shall be exempt from any certification fees. 2. VACS-685-65 Category for Registered Technician Certification. An individual who successfully completes the requirements prescribed for Registered Technician Certification will receive certification in Category 60. The category designation assigned to all registered technicians, regardless of the category or subcategory in which he is trained and applies the pesticides. 2. VACS-685-70. Commercial applicators must be certified in one or more of the following commercial applicator categories or subcategories. 1. Agricultural pest control. A. Agricultural plant pest control. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in production of agricultural crops or on grasslands or non-crop agricultural lands. B. Agricultural animal pest control. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides on agriculturally related animals. C. Fumigation of soil and agricultural products. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides for soil fumigation in production of an agricultural commodity and the application of pesticides for fumigation of agricultural products. D. Chemigation. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides through an irrigation system. 2. Forest pest control. This category is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in forest nurseries, and seed orchards. 3. Ornamental and turf pest control. Ornamental pest control. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in the maintenance and production of ornamental trees, shrubs, and flowers in and out of doors. B. Turf pest control. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in the production and maintenance of turf, including but not limited to turf in golf courses, residential lawns, parks, and cemeteries. 4. Seed treatment, excluding fumigation. This category is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides on seeds. 5. Aquatic pest control. A. Aquatic pest control general. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in or on standing or running water for the express purpose of controlling pests. This excludes applicators engaged in public health related activities. B. Marine antifouling paints. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of marine antifouling paints containing tributylin or other restricted use pesticides. 6. Right-of-way pest control. This category is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in the maintenance of public rights-of-way and in the maintenance of fence lines, structural perimeters, or other similar areas. 7. Industrial, institutional, structural, and health-related pest control. A. General pest control, excluding fumigation. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides to control household-type pests, pests that inhabit or infest structures, stored products, and residential food preparation areas, and pests capable of infesting or contaminating foods and foodstuffs at any stage of processing facilities. 7. Industrial, institutional, structural, and health-related pest control. B. Wood-destroying pest control, excluding fumigation. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides to control organisms that destroy structures made of wood. C. Fumigation. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of fumigant-type pesticides. D. Vertebrate pest control, excluding structural invaders. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides to control vertebrate pest animals. E. Sewer root pest control. This subcategory is for commercial applicators who use pesticides for sewer line root control. 8. Public health pest control. This category is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides for the management and control of pests having medical and public health significance. 9. Regulatory pest control. This category is for federal, state, and local governmental employee applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides in the control of regulated pests. 10. Demonstration and research pest control. This category is for commercial applicators who will be demonstrating the proper use and techniques of application of pesticides, including classroom demonstration, or who will be supervising such demonstration. It also includes applicators who will be conducting pesticide research on greenhouse or field plots. 11. Aerial pesticide application. This category is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of any pesticide applied by fixed or rotary wing aircraft. 12. Wood preservation and wood product treatment. This category is for commercial applicators who will be using or supervising the use of pesticides at treating plants and sawmills for preservative treatment of wood and wood products. 13. Miscellaneous. This category is to be used to designate categories or subcategories of commercial applicators using specific pesticides or uses for which the U.S. EPA may mandate certification in order to allow for the pesticide or use. B. A commercial applicator certified in one category and seeking initial certification in one or more additional categories shall meet the certification requirements of each of the new categories in which he desires certification. Private applicators who apply or supervise the application of restricted use pesticides shall be certified in one or more of the following categories. 1. Category 86, Single Product Certification. Includes private applicator applicants who are seeking authorization to apply a single identified restricted use product or related restricted use products with the same active ingredient and with a similar formulation and use. This category is intended for limited use under special or emergency circumstances as identified by the board. 2. Category 87. Limited certificate single-use product or single-use. Includes private applicator applicants who are seeking authorization to apply a single restricted use pesticide for a single identified purpose. This category is intended for limited use under special or emergency circumstances as identified by the board on a case-by-case basis. 3. Category 90. Agricultural commodity production, food, fiber, and forestry products, and commodity production. Includes private applicators who use or supervise the use of restricted use pesticides, 1. In the production of agricultural crops, including fumigation and chemigation, 2. On forestry products, 3. On animals, 4. In places where animals are confined, 5. For the control of vertebrate pests of agricultural crops and livestock animals, 6. In the production of agricultural commodities, and 7. For the fumigation of agricultural products. 4. Category 91. Ornamental production. Includes private applicators who use or supervise the use of restricted use pesticide to control pests in 1. Tree nurseries, 2. Shrub nurseries, 3. Ornamental plant nurseries, 4. Flower nurseries, 5. Greenhouses used for breeding and growing ornamental plants, 6. Irrigation systems, and 7. Ornamental production using fumigants. 2. VAC 5-685-90. 2. VAC 5-685-90. Determination of general knowledge and qualifications for private and commercial applicators and registered technicians. A. Applicants shall be tested on their knowledge and qualifications concerning the use of handling of pesticides. The examination will test the applicant's general knowledge required for all categories and the additional knowledge specifically required for each category or subcategory in which an applicator desires to be certified. B. All applicants for certification as private or commercial applicators or registered technicians shall demonstrate practical knowledge of the principles and practices of pest control and the safe use of pesticides as contained in a basic pesticide certification training core manual. Testing will be based on problems and situations in the following areas. 1. Federal and Commonwealth of Virginia pesticide laws and regulations. 2. Understanding and interpreting pesticide labels. 3. Handling of accidents and incidents. 4. Proper methods of storing, mixing, loading, transporting, handling, applying, and disposing of pesticides. 5. Safety and health, including proper use of personal protective equipment. 6. Potential adverse effects caused by the application of pesticides under various climatic or environmental conditions, such as drift from the target area, pesticide runoff, groundwater and drinking water contamination, and hazard to endangered species. And 7. Recognizing common pest and general pest biology. 2. VAC 5-685-100. Specific knowledge required for the categories of commercial applicators. Applicants for commercial applicator certification shall possess the skills and knowledge associated with the chosen categories as they pertain to those items listed in 2 VAC 5-685-90B 1 through 6, including recognizing category-specific pests and their biology as contained in the appropriate Virginia category-specific training manuals. 2. VAC 5-685-110. Specific knowledge required for the categories of private applicators. Applicants for private applicator certification shall possess the skills and knowledge associated with the chosen categories as they pertain to those items listed in 2 VAC 5-685-90B 1 through 6, including recognizing category-specific pests and their biology as contained in a Virginia category-specific certification training manual. 2 VAC 5-685-130 Renewal of Certification. A. Any certified private or commercial applicator or registered technician who desires to renew his certification shall do so biennially for the category or subcategory for which he is certified. A certified private or commercial applicator or registered technician must first attend board-approved recertification courses and submit proof of attendance at such courses or be re-examined in basic pesticide safety and the categories desired for recertification. In addition to the requirement in this subsection, commercial applicators and registered technicians shall also submit an application for renewal before the Commissioner will renew their. B. A certified commercial applicator or registered technician must complete a board-approved recertification course that, at a minimum, addresses the following topics. 1. Legal aspects including A reminder to follow label directions, including those on use, storage, disposal, and transportation. B. A review of possible consequences of violating the law. C. A reminder that restricted use pesticides purchased under an applicator certificate number must be for use by certified commercial applicators only. D. A review of a certified commercial applicator's responsibilities in supervising the use of restricted use pesticides by non-certified applicators. And E. A review of record-keeping responsibilities of certified commercial applicators for restricted use pesticide applications. And 2. Category-related training including A review of general safety for the applicator, co-workers, and the public. B. A review of the environmental aspects of pesticide use, including impact on non-target organisms, wildlife, domestic animals, groundwater, etc. C. A review of application techniques, including equipment calibration and maintenance. D. A review of hazards, both personal safety and environmental, unique to that specific category. E. A review of pertinent information regarding new chemistry or new formulations available that would be of use to applicators certified in the category. F. A review of integrated pest management programs applicable to the category. And G. A review of pests specific to the category, including in-depth training on identification and control of selected specific pests. This section may be tailored to local needs. C. A certified private applicator must complete a board-approved recertification course that, at a minimum, addresses the following topics: 1. General safety, 2. Legal update, and 3. Pest management and application technology, including A review of category-specific pest management and pesticide use patterns, and B. A review of category-specific pesticide application and handling technology. D. A certified private or commercial applicator or registered technician may accumulate up to 4 years of credit by attending board-approved recertification courses. E. Upon expiration of certification, the certificate of a private applicator, commercial applicator, or registered technician shall become invalid. Any private applicator, commercial applicator, or registered technician who desires to renew his certification but fails to do so within 60 days after its expiration shall be re-examined. 2. VAC 5-685-140 Re-examination. Re-examination or special examination will be required by the board of any commercial applicator or registered technician under the following circumstances. 1. Certificate has been suspended or revoked. 2. Significant technological advances have occurred in the category or subcategory for which the applicator or registered technician has been certified, requiring additional knowledge. 3. Additional standards established by the EPA require re-examination. 4. Commercial applicator or registered technician desires certification in an additional category. Or 5. Regulations require re-examination. 2. VAC 5-685-170 Reporting of pesticide accidents and incidents. A. Certified commercial or private applicators or registered technicians shall report any pesticide accident or incident in which they are involved that constitutes a threat to any person, to public health or safety, or to the environment as a result of the use or presence of any pesticide. The accident or incident shall be reported whether or not a restricted use pesticide is involved. B. When the accident or incident involves a discharge or spillage of a pesticide, the certified commercial or private applicator or registered technician shall contact the department for guidance to determine whether the discharged or spilled amount is a reportable quantity. C. The certified commercial or private applicator or registered technician shall make the initial notification to the Department's Office of Pesticide Services by telephone within a reasonable time, not to exceed 48 hours after the accident or incident occurrence, should circumstances prevent immediate notification. The certified commercial or private applicator or registered technician shall prepare and submit a written report of the accident or incident to the Office of Pesticide Services within 10 working days after the initial notification. 1. Name of individuals involved in accident or incident. 2. Name of pesticide involved. 3. Quantity of pesticide spilled and containment procedures. 4. Time, date, and location of accident or incident. 5. Mitigating actions taken. And 6. Name or description, if unnamed, and location of bodies of water nearby, where contamination of such bodies of water could reasonably be expected to occur due to natural or man-made actions. 2. VAC 5-685-180. Issuance of a certificate on a reciprocal basis. A person who is currently certified by another state or by a federal agency may make written application to the Commissioner or his duly authorized agent for issuance of a certificate on a reciprocal basis without examination in accordance with 3.2-3934 of the Code of Virginia. Along with his written application, an applicant shall either 1. Present an original certificate issued by the state of origin or issued by a federal agency, or 2. Request that the state of origin or federal agency send an attested copy of the applicant's certification directly to the Commissioner or his duly authorized agent. The applicant shall either include a document granting power of attorney to a resident of Virginia to receive process, or provide proof that the applicant has appointed a registered agent under the laws of the Commonwealth. Reciprocal certification shall not be granted based on reciprocal certification issued in another state. B. Any certificate issued on a reciprocal basis may be suspended in the same manner and on the same grounds as a Virginia certificate. A certificate issued on a reciprocal basis may also be suspended if the non-resident's original certificate or federal certification is suspended or revoked. 2. VAC 5-685-190. Reciprocal recertification. Reciprocal recertification shall be granted to out-of-state applicators if they 1. Maintain certification in their home state. 2. Provide proof of current certification to the Commissioner prior to the date of Virginia certification expiration. 3. Are currently certified in a state that grants reciprocal recertification to Virginia applicators in like categories. And 4. Have met all other Virginia requirements for recertification. 2. VAC 5-685-200. General record-keeping requirements for commercial applicators not for hire and registered technicians not for hire. A. Commercial applicators not for hire and registered technicians not for hire, being exempt from the pesticide business license requirement of the board and the record-keeping requirements under this license, are required to maintain pesticide application records as prescribed in this chapter. These records shall be maintained by the commercial applicator not for hire and the registered technician not for hire for a period of 2 years. B. Records governed by this regulation shall be made available for inspection by the Commissioner or his duly authorized agent during normal business hours upon written request. Records not readily available shall be submitted to the Commissioner within 72 hours if requested in writing. C. Persons possessing records governed by this part shall fully comply with the requirements contained in 7 U.S.C. 136F and regulations adopted pursuant thereto. 2. VAC 5-685-210. Specific record-keeping requirements for commercial applicators not for hire and registered technicians not for hire. Commercial applicators not for hire and registered technicians not for hire shall maintain a record of each pesticide applied containing the following: 1. Name of property owner, address or location, and, as is applicable, phone number of the site of application. 2. Name and certification number or certification number of the supervising certified applicator of the person making the application. 3. Day, month, and year of application. 4. Types of plants, crops, animals, or sites treated and principal pests to be controlled. 5. Acreage, area, or number of plants and animals treated. 6. Brand name or common product name of pesticide used. 7. EPA registration number. 8. Amounts of pesticide concentrate and amount of diluent used by weight or volume in mixture applied. And 9. Type of application equipment used. 3.2-3943 Civil Penalties. Procedure. A. The Board may assess against any person violating this chapter or regulations adopted hereunder a civil penalty after providing written notice of the alleged violation. Such notice shall not constitute a case decision as defined in 2.2-4001. The person so notified shall have 30 days to provide any additional relevant facts to the Board, including facts that demonstrate a good faith attempt to achieve compliance. In determining the amount of any civil penalty, the Board shall give consideration to 1. The history of previous violations. 2. The seriousness of the violation, including any irreparable harm to the environment and any hazards to the health and safety of the public. And 3. The demonstrated good faith in attempting to achieve compliance. B. No sooner than 30 days after providing written notice of the alleged violation pursuant to subsection A, the Board may assess a penalty of not more than $1,000 for a violation that is less than serious, not more than $5,000 for a serious violation, and not more than $20,000 for a repeat or knowing violation. The Board may assess an additional penalty of up to $100,000 for any violation that causes serious damage to the environment, serious injury to property, or serious injury to or death of any person. 3.2-3947 Penalties. A. Except as otherwise provided, any person who knowingly violates any provisions of this chapter or regulations adopted hereunder is guilty of a Class 1 misdemeanor and shall be subject to an additional fine of up to $500,000 if death or serious physical harm to any person is caused by the violation. B. The Commissioner may bring an action to enjoin the violation or threaten violation of this chapter or any regulation adopted hereunder in the Circuit Court of the county or city where the violation occurs or is about to occur, or in the Circuit Court of the City of Richmond if the violation may affect more than one county or city. The Commissioner may request either the Attorney for the Commonwealth or the Attorney General to bring action under this section when appropriate. 3.2-3940 Administrative Violations. A. In addition to imposing civil penalties and referring violations for criminal prosecution, the Board may deny, suspend, modify, or revoke a license after providing an opportunity for a hearing if it finds that the applicant, licensee, or his employee has committed any of the following violations. 1. Made false or fraudulent claims through any media, misrepresenting the effect of materials or methods. 2. Made a pesticide recommendation inconsistent with the label registered pursuant to this chapter, providing that such deviation may include provisions set forth in Section 2 EE of the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. 3. acted as a pesticide business with negligence, incompetence, or misconduct. 4. Made false or fraudulent records, invoices, or reports. 5. Failed to submit records required by the board. 6. Used fraud, misrepresentation, or false information in an application for a license or a renewal of a license, or in selling or offering to sell pesticides. 7. Stored or disposed of containers of pesticides by means other than those prescribed on the label or regulation. 8. Provided or made available any restricted use pesticide to any person not certified to apply such product. 9. Failed to notify the department of a reportable pesticide spill, accident, or incident. 10. Acted as a pesticide business without first obtaining the pesticide business license required. Or 11. Failed to pay any civil penalty assessed by the board. B. After opportunity for a hearing, the board may deny, suspend, revoke, or modify the provision of any certificate if it finds that the applicant or the holder of a certificate has 1. Made claims through any media that intentionally misrepresent the effects on the environment, like to the result from the application of a pesticide. 2. Used or caused to be used any pesticide inconsistent with 1. The label registered by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. 2. A Virginia state registered use. Or 3. Other permissible uses. 3. Applied any pesticide in a negligent manner. 4. Failed to comply with the provisions of Article 3, regulations adopted hereunder, or of any lawful order of the Commissioner or the Board. 5. Failed to 1. Keep and maintain required records or reports, or 2. Furnish or permit access to any such records or reports for copying by the Commissioner. 6. Made false or fraudulent records, invoices, or reports concerning the use or application of any pesticide. 7. Used or caused to be used any pesticide classified for restricted use, unless under the direct supervision of a certified applicator. 8. Used fraud or misrepresentation in applying for a certificate or renewal of a certificate. 9. Failed to comply with any limitations or restrictions on a certification. 10. Aided, abetted, or conspired with any person to violate the provisions of Article 3. 11. Impersonated any federal, state, or local official. 12. Made any statement, declaration, or representation applying that any person certified or registered under the provisions of Article 3 is recommended or endorsed by any agency of the Commonwealth. 13. Has been convicted or is subject to a final order assessing a penalty pursuant to the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. C. The Commissioner may, without a hearing, suspend the license of any person licensed or certified simultaneously with the institution of proceedings for a hearing, if he finds there is a substantial damage to the public health, safety, or the environment. The hearing shall be scheduled within a reasonable time of the date of the summary suspension. D. Any licensee or certificate holder whose license or certificate has been suspended shall not engage in the activity for which he has been certified or licensed pending the hearing. E. The Board shall suspend a license or certificate if a civil penalty is not paid within 60 days or a challenge is not made. When deciding whether to deny, suspend, revoke, or modify any certificate or license, the Board shall give due consideration to 1. The history of previous violations. 2. The seriousness of the violation, including any irreparable harm to the environment and any hazards to the health and safety of the public. And 3. The demonstrated good faith in attempting to achieve compliance with the chapter after notification of the violation. Congratulations, you have completed the course. Please proceed to the exam to receive your credit.